And we are live.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Okay, 7:01, I'm going to call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. So I'll need a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Castelline, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. And Councillor Cross, can you second it, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Now therefore be it resolved, Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of Calvin hereby approve the agenda as circulated.
Any discussion, Councillor Shipham?
No discussion.
Councillor Cross?
No,
Councillor Castelline?
Do we still do 7B1?
Yes.
Okay. No further comments.
Okay. So I'm going to call this resolution for a vote. Councillor Castelline, are you in favor of accepting the agenda as presented?
Yes, I am.
Councillor Cross
yes,
and Councillor Shipham,
Yes.
and I am as well. So this resolution is carried. Next item on the agenda is declaration of disqualifying interest, pecuniary. Does anyone have any written disclosure of pecuniary conflict of interest? Councillor Cross,
no, I don't.
Councillor Shipham,
No.
Councillor Castelline.
No.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is item number 4, and it's approval of the minutes of the most recent meeting or meetings, and that meeting is August the 9th, 2022. So I'll need a mover for this resolution as well. Councillor Shipham, can you move this one, please?
Yes.
Councillor Cross, can you second this one, please?
Yes,
Now therefore be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of Calvin hereby approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 9th, 2022.
Thank you. Any discussion, Councillor Castelline?
No discussion.
Councillor Cross?
no discussion.
Shipham?
No discussion.
Okay, so I'm going to call this resolution to a vote. Is everybody in favor of approving the minutes of the August 9th, 2022 meeting? Councillor Cross?
Yes,
Councillor Shipham?
Yes.
And Councillor Castelline?
Yes.
I am as well. So this resolution is carried. Okay, so next item on the agenda is number 5. It's a council direction from the previous meeting of August 9th, 2022. A is a vacant council seat resolution to approve vacancy to end of council term. So I'll need a mover and a seconder for this one, please. Councillor Shipham, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Castelline, can you second it, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Whereas Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of Calvin directed staff to contact 2 individuals to determine if they would be willing to let their names stand to fill the council seat vacancy. And whereas Council was informed that the 2 individuals, Mr. Gould and Ms. Homer, both declined to let their names stand. And whereas Council's further direction was to advise for the advertise for the position with consideration to former members of Council. And whereas Council was informed by staff that due to the fact that nomination day is August 19th, 2022, the limited time available to advertise, undertake interviews, and there being only 6 council meetings to November 14th, 2022, when the current term of council ends, it was recommended that council reconsider their decision to advertise and not fill the vacancy. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the municipality of Calvin hereby not advertise for appointments for the council vacancy and that the seat remain vacant.
Thank you, Mary. Any discussion, Councillor Castellan?
No discussion.
Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Shipham? No?
No discussion.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to call this resolution to a vote. Councillor Castellan, are you in favor of this resolution?
Yes, I am.
Councillor Cross?
Yes.
And Councillor Shipham?
Yes.
And I am as well, so this resolution is carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 5B, and it was PSW funding, resolution to approve with funding to come from reserves. So I'm going to need a mover and a seconder for this one, please. Councillor Castellan, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Cross, can you second it, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now therefore be it resolved that council for the corporation of the municipality of Calvin support the Near North District School Board PSW program and a contribution of $965 to the program with funding to come from reserves, conditional that the PSW program proceeds.
Any discussion? Councillor Castellan.
I think we should add one word, and it says approve contribution of maximum 965, because if we still find a student, then that contribution should diminish by a third.
Okay. Everybody in favor of that change? Okay, let's put that one there, please, Mary. Okay. All right, thank you, Councillor Castellan. Any discussion, Councillor Cross?
No.
Councillor Shipham?
No discussion.
Okay. I'm going to call for a vote on this resolution. Councillor Castellan, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
And Councillor Shipham, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 6, which is delegations, and we have none tonight. Then after that is item 7, legislative matters, and A is a consent agenda, includes terms and correspondence not requiring administrative reports or actions, committee reports not requiring any action by council, and matters that are information purposes only, and we have none of those. So B is under 7 is bylaw 2022-051, and it's a bylaw to codify human resources management policies for the Calvin Fire Department. I'm going to need a mover and a second.
Sorry, Mayor
Hello?
Pell, can I interrupt for a second?
Absolutely.
The person that's been trying to log in, Mary, is Peggy. It's just under her son's name.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if you want to tell her to join back in, I can add her again or admit her.
Okay, sorry about the interruption.
Appreciate that, Jacob. Okay, so I'm going to need a mover and a seconder for this, please. And Councillor Shipham, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Counselor Cross, can you second one, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Now therefore be it resolved that bylaw number 2022-051, being a bylaw to codify human resource management policies for the municipality of Calvin Fire Department, to be read and enacted this 23rd day of August, 2022.
Okay, thank you. Just open for discussion. Counselor Cross.
Well, there was a lot to cover in this. I think there were some changes made. I think this is a step moving forward, so I agree with it.
Okay. Counselor Shipham.
No, I think this was a good step in the right direction to ensure that everybody that is representing the township and is within our employ is all under the same umbrella and has the same rules and regulations. I'm good with it.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Castelline.
Well, it comes back to the fairly extensive email that I sent when we got this document the first time, and I have a few things to mention here. And under direction, and
Looking at the one on your website, Counselor Castelline?
excuse me, Mayor Pennell?
Are you looking at the one that's on our website? Because there was
Yes,
some
I am.
changes, ones that came out last Friday.
I got this from the website on Friday.
Okay, there were some changes made yesterday and today. There was a spelling error that was corrected.
Okay, and oh, well, that's nice. So how come I didn't know about that there was changes?
I'm just telling you right now. We're in discussion for that.
It's a bit late.
Well, we haven't voted on it yet, so it's not late. All right, it's open for discussion.
Well, I don't know if then my concerns that I have written down are still valid. How am I going to continue on this? Are we going to defer again? Because
No, we will not defer it again. Any change that has to be made to this resolution will have to be made by another council resolution. But we haven't determined if we're going to pass this resolution the way it is or not. That's yet to be determined.
And I have not seen, and I was not notified that there was a modified version. I haven't seen anything in the email. The only thing I got in the email was the notification from Mary on Friday that the agenda was attached with the supporting papers, and that's the one that I have.
Okay. It's my understanding that there was one spelling error, and that was rectified.
Well,
did you have other errors?
Well, I had some concerns, and I said I sent that in an email. What was it now? 2 weeks back, and it is under several schedules that I had some concerns. I don't know if the new text is still the same as the old one. So how can I comment on that?
Understood.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I cannot quickly download and print the new version. That's an impossibility.
Yes.
It will not be ready during this meeting. So how am I going to get an educated opinion on this?
So, Mary, is what you're showing now what's on the website currently?
I'm not too sure. I believe this is the one with the corrected spelling mistakes in it.
Okay. So which ones did you have, Councillor Castleman?
The one that we were sent on Friday.
Okay, which area is your concern, Councillor Castleman?
Okay, let's go to under direction.
Okay.
And go to further down the page. It says Schedule G.
That was corrected. It now says
Yes.
Fire Department Code of Conduct.
That's correct. And now Schedule B under the heading Volunteer Firefighter Supervisory Position Vacancy. Schedule B. Yeah. It says the municipal administrator shall establish guidelines for filling the supervisory position internally within the fire department, which consider competency and fit over years of service. I would like to change that or see that corrected or not corrected, modified to say consider competency and fit as well as years of service, because I think years of service is just as important as competency and fit. So that was one of my concerns. I don't know if anybody else agrees with that, but that's one of them. Then we go to Schedule D. And it should state in Schedule D that all professional development suggestions should be made in full coordination with the fire chief. And the same, of course, goes for performance evaluation. Performance evaluations cannot be
Okay,
done.
one at a time, Councillor Castleman. We're trying to catch up to you here.
Okay.
So which one is it in here?
It says that the professional
What
development.
number?
I don't have a number on that.
So what's the wording then?
It said that professional development suggestions should be made by will be made by the municipal administrator, and I think it should be in coordination with the fire chief. The municipal administrator may not know or may not be aware of additional requirements, and the same thing, of course, goes for performance evaluations. The fire chief is the closest to the firefighting personnel, and he should be fully.
Let's see that here someplace. I want to see it in here. Do you know where that is? I see learning and professional development here.
Schedule D, right?
Yeah, this is Schedule D development.
Okay.
Okay, at the bottom of the page,
Bottom of which page?
that page says Schedule B.
Okay.
It says annually, if applicable, council will adopt a volunteer firefighters personnel professional development plan. Yeah. Prior to the adoption of the municipalities of Kelvin budget, that should be in coordination with the fire chief.
Yes, annually, council will adopt the volunteer firefighter personnel professional development plan prior to the adoption of the municipality of Kelvin's budget. And do you want it to say what?
Well, it should that the fire chief should be heavily involved in that. I don't know if the text of this is sufficient to say that the suggestions come from the fire chief.
So how Okay, I understand that, but I don't know how council would determine that without,
Without-
input from the fire chief or the administrator. And just to keep in mind that, everybody will report to the administrator, right? So,
Yes.
Yeah, so, Fire Chief.
anything else, Councillor Castellane?
On the schedule G. And this may be a little bit controversial. Schedule G under the heading, public criticism.
Chief?
There is public criticism of council and of the municipality of Kelvin. Currently, it says volunteer firefighter personnel are expected to respect and support all decisions of council. And I would like to see that changed to volunteer firefighter personnel are expected to respect all democratic decisions. I find it hard to think that a decision of council may not be supported by a firefighter, and that would require them to shut up. I'm of the opinion that if you do not agree with a decision, you can still respect it, but you should not and you cannot publicly criticize it. For example, if I'm not in agreement with a council decision, I will not volunteer my opinion. However, if I'm asked, I will say so. And I think that the text as it is currently now does not allow firefighters to speak their mind when asked. They should not necessarily volunteer it, but they should be able to speak their mind. And yes, you should respect democratic decisions.
All decisions of council are democratic, all right? That's why we vote.
That's right.
And if you look at, I don't know where it is exactly in our,
Yeah, there's further down that says that they shall not publicly criticize or shall not, that's in public speaking and appearances of media relations.
I'm not quite sure exactly where it is in our procedural bylaw, but it does say in there that even if a councillor doesn't agree with the decision of council, they will, when asked, support that decision by council and not go against that decision by council.
We should
It is the
respect.
same for any other group as well, including the firefighters.
Well, with support, I more or less mean be in favor, be a proponent, how shall I put it further? Be a fighter for it. Yeah, I would expect the firefighters to respect the decisions, but not necessarily fully, wholeheartedly support it. That's something that I cannot see.
So I don't understand what you're saying, okay? If you support it, okay, then why would you not follow it?
If you respect it, why would you not follow it?
Yeah.
Yes, you would follow it, but maybe grudgingly.
Okay, as long as it's followed though, right? And respecting it. And everybody's respecting them as well, right? It's a two-way street.
Understood.
Anything further, Councillor
yes.
Castellan?
There is a use of municipal resources under the heading of use of municipal resources. And it says volunteer fire. Okay, that has been corrected. I see. Shall not use. Yeah, and the same thing with shall not seek or acquire any personal financial gain. Okay, that has been corrected. I don't know if we can go back to Schedule C, which is an onboarding program. Onboarding is a one-year process focusing on the integration of the new volunteer into the organization to facilitate the acquisition of skills and knowledge. Can that be a 1 year or less? Because we may find that that somebody signs on to be a volunteer firefighter and they have extensive firefighting experience. Then I don't think onboarding would have to last a year.
That would be an opinion. If you do it the same for everyone, then there's no one can say that you're unfair. All right. If you treat everyone equally, then and respectfully, then no one can say that they're treated unfairly, or no one can say that the other guy beside me didn't have to do it. Right. So it's kind of a one for all.
I understand. It is just that I know that further down in the paragraph it says that on the moment the candidate is interviewed and ends when a new fire department volunteer is fully integrated and performing as expected. And I was more or less referring to the fact that that could happen in less than a year.
Yeah. I think it has to be the same for everyone, though.
Okay.
Anything further, Castellan?
Those were mine. And I know that Christine had something to say about when I was talking about the respect and support for all council decisions. I would like to hear her.
Okay. Okay, Councillor Shipman, do you have anything that you wanted to bring forth?
I just wanted to say that the respect for the decision and supporting it, again, as with the military, I didn't have to respect the person behind the order, but I had to respect the order. I had to follow the order whether I liked it or not. And that's the way that the fire department is set up. It's following a rank system, and they need to respect that the highest rank has made a decision. It trickles down, and each person within the chain needs to follow it, not necessarily agree with it. And you're quite able, I guess, to have your firefighter meeting and complain about it among all your buddies and everything. But once you step foot outside the fire department and you're out in public, you respect the decision and you support it.
Okay. So, let me go back to the resolution, please. I think a lot of the errors were corrected or whatever. And we heard everyone's opinion. So I'm going to bring this to a vote on whether we move forward with it or not. Councillor, I'm going to call Councillor Castellan first. Are you in favor of moving forward with this bylaw? Councillor Castellan?
If
As it is.
if the changes that I mentioned
So your answer is no then?
have been made, then yes, I am in favor.
So, but we're not making those changes, so are you
No,
in favor?
the changes that have been made, those were the most
Okay.
important. Yeah.
Good with that then?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Shipman, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Councillor Cross, how do you vote?
But yes,
I vote yes as well. So this bylaw is carried. Thank you very much. Good discussion, everyone. Next item on the agenda, item 2, is remuneration for council. And so I'm looking for... So I need a mover and a seconder for this. Councillor Shipman, can you move this one, please?
Yes.
And Councillor Castellan, can you second it, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Now therefore be it resolved that bylaw number 2022-053, being a bylaw to establish council remuneration for the council of the municipality of Calvin, to be read and enacted this 23rd day of August, 2022.
Okay. Any discussion? Councillor Cross.
I am in fully agreement that both council members and the mayor are inadequately compensated for the amount of time and hours that we put into doing our council package, meetings. I mean, there's a lot behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. I am fully in support of raising the remuneration, especially for the mayor position, because so much more is expected of him or her for future council as well. However, saying that, I do have some hesitation on making this decision so close to the end of our term. Should it be that council decides to go forward with this decision, I do suggest or have a preference that we deal with it in one of two ways. That the increase that does take effect doesn't take effect until the next meeting. I'm not 100% sure what the retro would be, but I don't feel that we should be getting any money before the election, or we defer this decision to the next council to make. Like I said, I do fully support an increase. I believe this amount of money has been the same since just before Mayor Carmichael moved on. Things have changed a lot. There's you compare to neighboring councils and what they get. I just feel a little uneasy about doing this now. Yeah, maybe somebody else has something to just say. So those are my two suggestions.
Thank you. Councillor Shipman, any discussion?
Well, I agree that the wages need to go up as well. A lot, as Councillor Cross says, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that nobody notices or really hears about, because all they're seeing is the meetings. We had all of the Castle Home extra meetings that were taking place. We've had extra meetings for closed sessions, which there were a lot of. We've been doing a lot to try and mitigate issues that we've been having. So this increase would bring our wages in line with the rest of the townships around us. And even then, from what I could learn on the internet, most of those remunerations for the other townships are still 2016 and 2019. So they're fairly old as well. And whether they're still at that level, I don't know. It will also streamline the process for our clerks, because they won't be getting 5 different pieces of paper to say that this is what we did or this person did for the month. The pay will be already set and ready to go. So I believe that this is a good idea.
Okay, Councillor Castellan, any discussion?
Yes. When I received the agenda, I went onto the AMCTO website, and AMCTO did a study in 2018 for regarding council remunerations. And
What year was that, Councillor Castellan?
2018, so that is 4 years ago.
Okay.
And from what the numbers that I can see, the compensation for mayor, as we have been provided, is right in line with the average that the AMCTO found. Deputy mayor, because it is not a councillor and it is not a mayor, I can see the compensation to be a few $1,000s less than for the mayor. For councillors, what I found is that the suggested remuneration of $10,800 per year is high. It would come down to $900 a month. $9,600, which is $800 a month, is more in line with what the AMCTO found for municipalities with less than 5,000 residents. So I'm in full agreement with raising the remuneration, even though what I said in January was an uneducated comment. I have learned in the meantime that yes, councillors do a little bit more than I thought they were doing. So yeah, the remuneration needs to be increased, except that I think for councillors, it is on the high end, and that's my suggestion. If we can bring it down to 9,600, which is $800 a month, then I would feel more comfortable with that, because that would fall in line with what the AMCTO found. And that's my 2 cents worth.
All right. I know Peggy's done a lot of research on this. I was wondering if you have something that you'd like to bring up, Peggy? I know what you were talking about, the information you're looking at was from 2018, Councillor Castellan, so that's 5 years ago, so a lot of things have changed in the last 5 years. But anyway, do you have anything that you'd like to present to us, Peggy?
So thank you, Your Worship. I do, and the numbers that I proposed in the bylaw are based on what we found when Barbara and I did an analysis back in 2020 with the Township of North Shore. And Township is about not quite 100 people population-wise less than Calvin. And these rates are in line with what they put in place in 2020. And so I respect what Councillor Castellan is saying about what AMCTO did, but there's been significant cost of living increases. There's been other increases that councils, I want to go back because when I looked at the bylaws in 2014, there was an increase for council. There's been no increase in Calvin since 2014. Prior to that, it was 2006. And I recently have come across an article where it said that, you know, being on municipal council is important. And if we don't compensate people appropriately, they aren't going to come out and run. And I know that Barbara can actually talk to that. She's not here this evening, but we've got a situation where we're dealing in communities where there is no election because there's not sufficient people who are willing to run. And I believe that, like employees, council needs to be compensated fairly for what they do. And the work involved in being on a municipal council is a lot. And while the AMCTO did a study, they didn't make recommendations on what was the best amount for councils and mayors to be compensated. What they did was they looked at what people were being paid. And what people are being paid is an amount that isn't always comparable to what they ought to be paid. And one of the things that I know we've done training on when we do council orientation is about saving yourself into a crisis. And that's what we're seeing in some of the communities where we don't have enough people coming out because they don't want to put their time and energy in there to get paid $4,000 and $5,000 a year. It's not worth it. The amounts that we proposed were fair. I spoke to council on previous occasions about going with a flat rate as opposed to per meeting per diem. I've done a blended thing based on what council has done in the past. I'm not a fan of the added meetings, but I also understand sometimes you end up with 6 meetings in a month and lots of meetings for time. So I see where there could be a reason for it, which is why we looked at 26 meetings. We looked at a base rate. We compared to what North Shore was doing, and at North Shore we did a 3-year comparative analysis of their rates per year and came up with an average, and the average fit with what we were proposing in Calvin. We did not do a 3-year average of your rates because your rates were too low to begin with, and I don't think that's a fair comparison. So I'm happy to answer questions, Your Worship, if council has them.
Okay, does anyone have anything they'd like to ask Peggy? If you do, put your hand up, please. I don't see any hands. So, thank you, Peggy. Oh, okay, Councillor Castellan.
Can we still do what Councillor Cross suggested, that we start, because when we accept this resolution, it would be effective immediately. However, can we start with the flat rate next month instead of this month?
If I might, Your Worship, the response to that is the bylaw has been drafted that the flat rate starts as of January 1st of 2022. And I have calculated this kind of flat rate in the budget already. And what I'm proposing is it allows us to do payments differently. It allows us to have an actual concrete amount of what it could cost. Because most of the other boards that council belongs to or that you appoint people to have compensation outside of the municipality having to pay for it. I'm not opposed to whatever council's decision is. I've made the recommendation that I believe is in the best interest of the municipality.
All right. I tend to agree with that. I'm not saying that I put in a lot of time more than anyone else. But I probably put in 15 hours a week on doing emails and talking to people. So that's 60 hours a month. And then there's the meetings that I go to that there is no compensation for, like the mayor's meetings and the doctor recruitment meetings and the capital home meetings and just various meetings that are mileage and time and research in order to get there and to be able to know what the discussion's going to be about and how to contribute to that discussion, taking into account the situation in our municipality and how a decision there would affect us. So I'm in agreement to the way this resolution is presented. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to give everyone else one more chance to speak to it, and then I'm going to call a vote on it. I see Councillor Shipman has her hand up, so please proceed, Councillor Shipman.
I just wanted to say that I realize that not everybody works outside their house or whatever, but when I had to do things for the township, I had to take time off work. So I either used a vacation day or I didn't get paid to come and do what I needed to do for the township. I'm not begrudging that, but nobody expects to have to lose time at work or take vacation to do the job for council. I know that, if I was retired, this would be like probably a dream thing because I could get up and do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, at whatever time I wanted. But I can't. I'm not allowed to do a bunch of stuff that needs to be done during working hours. My boss doesn't appreciate it. So, yeah, I don't believe that anything that's in this is too much, because everything that we've looked at is 4 years old. COVID has changed a lot of things. It's made everything more expensive. It's changed the way we're doing business. It's costing more to do business. Yeah, I agree that this should stand the way it is.
Anybody else? No? Just to speak to one thing that Councillor Shipman just spoke of, about taking time off work. I'm not begrudging anything or, looking for any pity or whatever, but I have a meeting in Mattawa that I have to attend this Friday. And the only way I can attend that meeting is take a vacation day from work. So basically that's taking a loss in pay to go to it. I'm not going to get paid for it. I'm not going to get in my office to attend it, okay? But I think it's important that I go, so I'm going to, all right? Anyway, nothing else. I'm going to call a vote on this resolution. Councillor Castellan, are you in favor of this resolution the way it is written?
Yes.
Councillor Cross, are you in favor of this resolution the way it is written?
No.
Councillor Shipman, are you in favor of this resolution the way it is written?
Yes.
And I am in favor as well. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for the support. So the next item on the agenda is item C. It's public hearings, planning, zoning matter. And item number 1, it's Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, draft consent 48-C-220426. So I'm going to need a mover and a seconder for this one, please. Councillor Castellan, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Cross, can you second it, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Now therefore be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of Calvin received a letter from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing seeking comment with respects to a drafted consent application, MMAH file number 48-C 2024-26, owners Quinn and Dennis Felker, with respects to Lot 4, Concession 10, PIN 49112-0029, benefiting. Part Lot 5, Concession 10, PIN 49112-0028, 50 Floods Road, severed. Lauder Unincorporated Township, Nipissing District, and respond as follows. No objection or concern with respect to the proposal to provide both the new lot and the retained lot access to the yearly maintained portion of Floods Road. That the new owners enter into a road use agreement with the municipality of Calvin for the seasonal portion of the roadway prior to granting a severance. No objections or concerns that the proposed lot addition will place a strain on municipal public service facilities and/or infrastructure, and no additional general land use planning comments about the proposed development.
Thank you, Mary. I looked at the map or sketch that came with this request, and there was a service station on it, and there was a store on it, and I don't know of any stores and service stations back on Floods Road or even close to there. So I don't think we have enough information or the proper information to make a decision on this, okay? And we've asked Chris, our road super, to come tonight to provide his opinion as well, because he does the maintenance on the road, and he knows how much the road is maintained, okay? And I'm not sure that can be determined from the diagrams that we were provided. Chris, can you speak to that, please?
Yes, good evening, Mayor Powell and Council. I did review the application for severance in Lauder Township. And yes, there does seem to be a lot of conflicting information in the application. I can't make out exactly where they are applying for in relation to Floods Road. On their map, there is no road names to refer to, and there are roads indicated on the map that I'm not familiar with. And there is no clear map on Lauder Township in referencing to Calvin Township. I have no issues with them creating a new lot in Lauder Township adjacent to Floods Road, as long as both the new lot and the retained lot have access to the yearly maintained portion of Floods Road. The owners could also enter into a road use agreement with the municipality to use the seasonal portion of Floods Road. But this, if they chose to do that, this should be agreed upon before granting a severance. So if they're going to have an entrance, like they do make it kind of unclear, I guess, as to where the entrance to these two lots are going to be. And it seems like they want to share a driveway at the beginning. But it's very hard to understand exactly what they're asking for. And I would like to have more clarification on that from them, or at least a clear map indicating exactly what they're asking for.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
I'm going to open up the discussion from the rest of the group. Councillor Cross, your thoughts on that?
I'm in agreement with the confusion with the map. There was things I didn't understand. I would just like to be completely clear so that we know what we're agreeing to, so that everybody is on the same page and that we've done our due diligence to make sure that everything is accurate. Can't speak today. And that it's all done properly. That's all.
Okay. Councillor Shipman, any discussion?
No, I agree. I couldn't make heads or tails out of what was going on with either of the maps that were with this this batch of paperwork. I didn't understand, as Chris said, I didn't understand what road they were talking about or which one was Flood Road, never mind which one was, because there was no names on the roads. So I would like to see a clearer map and a better description or explanation of what they're hoping to do with regards to Floods Road and us.
Anything further?
No, that's it. Thanks.
Councillor Castellan?
Yeah, I would like to hear from Chris, not necessarily today, if on the map they indicate a broken line. They indicate to where Floods Road is maintained, and I would like to know from Chris if that is indeed the spot where it is. Yeah, because yeah, I don't see a turnaround for the plow. I don't know if that is indeed the spot to where the road is maintained. They can say all they want, but I haven't heard from Chris if that is indeed the boundary to where the maintenance stops.
Councillor Castleman, from what I understand, where the yearly maintained road ends at the driveway, and they kind of indicated here, they kind of indicated in the map, but again, because it's such a close-up view of where the road ends, I can't tell exactly where they're indicating. I know where the road ends itself, but in relation to Floods Road on the map that they sent, I can't tell.
Yeah, their claim is that the unopened road allowance begins approximately 22 meters past the existing driveway. Well, that may be the case, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that section is also maintained. So I would like to make sure that that is indeed the case. So if you say that the maintenance ends at a driveway, then what the map says is incorrect.
Yeah, it may be a short distance past the driveway because we have to do sort of a 3-point turn there. But again, it doesn't give me, like if I had a measurement from Daventry Road or something like that I could go on, it would be different. But there's no indication as to even where Daventry Road is in relation to Floods Road and the snowplow turnaround.
Yeah.
So,
and even so, that they may indicate an unopened road allowance on another sketch, but I'm not even aware that there is an unopened road allowance. So, yeah, it's I don't know. There's too many open questions to say yeah, go ahead. So.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. So it sounds. Well, we'll go back to the resolution again, please. So everyone's kind of given their opinion, and I appreciate all that from everyone. But it sounds like we don't want to do this right now, and we need further information and better drawings from Warner's Quinn and Faulkner. So I'm going to call this resolution to a vote to see if we want to proceed this way, and we'll see what happens. So, Councillor Castellan, how do you vote? Yes or no?
Not the way it stands, no.
Okay. And Councillor Cross?
No.
Okay, and Councillor Shiplin?
No.
I vote no as well. And I want, we need them to know that. But I'd like to bring forward, I don't know when we're gonna do it, at the next meeting perhaps, a resolution to, respond to, these two individuals, or their representatives, and, provide reasoning that, we didn't approve, this resolution, and what they need to provide to us in order for us to consider it. Is everyone in agreement to that? Okay, I see everybody's head shaking, yes? Okay, so if we could bring something back to our next meeting, to that effect. We've already been waiting since, I think, I don't know, it's a long time on this one, anyway, okay? Thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is item D. It's committee internal, external reports, and there are none. Then after that, there's, number 8, administrative matters. New business report from officers, employees on various issues, including reports from the departments which require council approval. And one is the elections clerk report. Do we have that? Okay.
The report's on screen.
Okay. How many pages is this?
I think 4 or 5.
Okay. So has everybody had a chance to take a look at it? Yeah. Okay, so can we go back to the resolution, please? I need a mover and a seconder for this resolution. Councillor Shipman, can you move this one, please?
Yes.
Councillor Castleline, can you second it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now therefore be it resolved that council for the corporation of the municipality of Calvin hereby accept the election report provided by election official Barbara Major.
All right, thank you, Mary. Any discussion, Councillor Cross?
No discussion, just it's nice to see the interest that has been put out on how many people are on the list, and I wish everybody, you know, great campaigning in the future. So that's all.
Okay, Councillor Shipman?
No, I'm good with this.
Okay, Councillor Castleline?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to call for a vote on this one. Excuse me, Councillor Castleline, do you vote yes or no on this resolution?
Yes.
Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
And Councillor Shipman, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is item 9, and it's leadership issues, of which we have none. Item after that is closed session, of which we have none. And then we have the confirmatory bylaw, number 2022-054. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Cross, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Shipman, can you second it, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now therefore be it resolved that bylaw number 2022-054 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of council held Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 be read and adopted.
Any discussion on this? Councillor Castleline?
No discussion.
Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Shipman?
No discussion.
Okay, and I call for a vote. Councillor Castelline, how do you vote on this resolution?
Yes.
Councillor Cross, how do you vote on this resolution?
Yes.
And Councillor Shipman?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So this resolution is also carried. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. Need a mover and a seconder for that as well. So Councillor Cross, can you move this one, please?
Yes.
Councillor Shipman, can you second it, please?
Yes.
Okay,
Now therefore be it
so-
resolved that council for the corporation of the municipality of Calvin adjourn this meeting at 8:07 PM.
All right, any discussion, Councillor Castelline?
No.
Councillor Cross?
No.
Councillor Shipman?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna call for a vote. Councillor Castelline, you vote yes or no? To
Yes.
adjourn the meeting at 8:07.
Yes, I do.
Councillor Cross
Yes.
and Councillor Shipman.
Yes.
Before I vote, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Your input was much appreciated and a definite addition to the meeting. So I'm going to vote yes on this resolution as well. And that will adjourn our meeting for this evening.